Hi guys, I just wanted to discuss the top revenue earners in the marijuana space in Canada and USA. So there's this website called newcannabisventures.com, and it does the Canadian dollar reporting, and it also does the USA dollar reporting. So I I don't have the exact conversion on the basis of what the Canadian versus US dollar is, but I think it's around 75 to a dollar. So I did the conversion on a 1.333 to make the list and do the top 10, or not the top 10, about the top 21. Yeah, about 20 of the top revenue earners. So I want to go into the first one, the in that list, which isn't an official list because ACB and MedRelief, they weren't they're not joint ventured yet. Like they haven't, ACB hadn't acquired them completely in that reporting, but it gives a sense of what their kind of growth earnings will be combined with in the future. So in the last quarter, if you add them together, ACB and MedRelief are 28.1 million. So that's the number one. If you go to number two, that will be Canopy Growth, which is at 22.8 million. I want to completely explain that this is all in Canadian dollar earnings, because I talk in US companies as well. So that's 22.8 million Canadian dollars. And then for the number third on the list is it's a company called Kush Bottles, and I don't know that much about the company, but I do know they're maybe trying to get onto the NASDAQ, and that would be a very big move for them. I know that they're kind of similar to Namaste. Well, Namaste is going to be a little different now when they get their their sales license. But as far as it goes, I think they just kind of sell accessories for marijuana companies. But they're a big company in the United States. They're the number one revenue maker in the USA. So for the number four, you have Green Thumb Industries, which is a new company, ticker GTII, I believe. And I think they just own dispensaries. They might have some cultivation as well, and they're at 14.5 million last quarter. For the number five pick is CVSI, which it stands for something sciences, and I know they sell CBD kind of edibles, and like CBD. I think it's all made out of hemp. I'm not entirely sure, but I know they're the number one revenue maker for CBD in the States. So now you got number 6, which is a new ticker under Tilray, and they did the same as CVSI. They did 10.8 million. So that's that's pretty good. It's that would put them into third place for revenues for Canadian marijuana companies. So it's pretty impressive. Now you got down the list is Afria, which most people know about. They did 10.3 million. Not super substantial, They're kind of like they're starting to lag behind Canopy and ACB's revenues. So it'll be interesting to see how Afria does in the future. Now we got behind them is TerraTech, which is a USA company, and they did 9.7 million. And then you got MedMen, which is kind of they had dispensaries, and they did 9.6 million. Then behind that is CanTrust, which is a big marijuana company in Canada. They're expanding very quick. I think that they're growing about 300 grams per square feet, which is industry leading pretty much. And then you have below them is Isidol at 5.9 million, and they're gonna have their quarterlies on July 31st. So it'll be interesting to see how they did for the last quarter. Grow Generation, they did 5.8 million, and that's not bad. And then it was Namaste, they did 5.6 million last quarter, and they're gonna be doing their quarterlies on July 31st. Then down the list is Suniva, which did 5.2 million. They're also going to be reporting on July 31st. I want to also mention that Afria, I believe, is they're going to be doing their earnings on August 1st. So it will be interesting to see. And then you have down the list is GW Pharma, which is 4.5 million. I think they should be reporting sometime in mid-August. I think sometime in August. 4.5 million, and they just got FDA regulated, I guess, or for their drug Epidiolex, I believe. So it was the first company that's real marijuana, so that's pretty impressive. It'll be interesting to see how they grow their business. They're a big company, high market cap. Then below them is MPX, which did 4.5 million. They have a business that they're growing in Canada for a cultivation license and eventually get a sales license, but they're mainly making all their money in the USA with dispensaries, and I think they're cultivating a bit. They're a company that's fairly low market cap, some company to watch out for. Then below is Golden Leaf at 4.25 million. So it'll be interesting to watch Golden Leaf too. I mean, their share price has gotten their butts kicked, but I know they got a cultivation license now in Canada, and I think they just said that their grow is doing really good. So it'll be interesting to see how they do in the Canadian marketplace. I know they've had trouble in the States with their losses, and then going down to the last two for these companies are companies that made over 2.5 million. So now you have Friday Night Inc., which did 3.3 million. They have a dispensary, and they also do CBD, and they do some dog pet shoes with their, or dog pet food with their Canna Hemp business, Infused MFG. I have some shares in them as well. But yeah, they're good. They're going to be growing, having a bigger facility sometime soon. So it'll be interesting to see how they do on a bigger facility. I mean, it might dazzle your mind, but sometime they could be making like 15 to 20 million very rapidly. They're big in Nevada. And then the last one on the list is Organigram, and they did 3.2 million. So those were pretty much like the top 20 marijuana companies that I wanted to talk about for revenues. It gives you something to think about, because I think the industry is changing towards earnings, revenue, and profits now that we're getting into legalization. And so it's something to really think about when how you're investing your money. I have some lower market cap companies in that list, about 4 or 5 or 6 companies that I have a fair bit of money in. So that's what I like to keep my money in, rather than just hype stocks. And that's all I have to say for today, because I don't want to have this video too long and it not stream onto my YouTube, as I'm kind of new to all this. But I appreciate you guys listening to my report on the top 20 revenue makers in the cannabis industry in USA and Canada. It'll be interesting to see how it changes in the next year as recreation gets going. These companies are going to be making hundreds of millions. Some of them, I would say, about at least 5 or so companies are going to make over $100 million per annum. So that's what I have to say, and thanks for listening. Goodbye.